Daniel Jameson just graduated. He's on his way to Folsom College, community college.
Yeah.
Savvy, super savvy.
I just had a meeting with him, and he knows his stuff. He's done his research. It's his passion.
Yeah.
It really is. And when people pursue their passion fully, you know, you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's cool.
And he's really good at it.
Yeah, he is.
He's when it comes to technology, he's the opposite of me.
You know your stuff.
No. Well, I like to write.
So look,
and I like to do
there's
them.
Good, there's great, and there's excellent.
Yeah.
And good, everybody does good, right? Great is like brilliant, is like good, you know, and then there's excellent. He does excellent work. Excellent work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And what's fun about this whole process so far is I have ideas and I like to write and I like to have, you know, but what's the most fun is teaming up with somebody that can fill in those gaps that I'm the weakest at.
Yeah.
You know, that's why this is existing right now.
Yeah. Sounds like you're an ultimate martial artist, right? So you understand your weaknesses. You found somebody that can not replace, but that can take over and fill in for your weaknesses. And you're probably doing some learning too, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Right? You're picking up stuff, you're learning things. So it's not like you're just, you know, having people take care of your chores. You're involved in the process.
Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. I'm really interested to see where this goes. But yeah, martial arts in general, I knew, going back to that as an analogy, it applies to everything.
Yeah.
But when it applies to actual martial arts itself, I saw in 1991 when the UFC first started, I'm like, who is this Royce Gracie? Oh my gosh, my Taekwondo, Kaiji Kimbo, Shotokan Karate. What does this mean?
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't take until I think about 8 years ago, 2008, is when I started, and I felt like, speaking of classical music, when you talked about that, going from the guitar to a violin, it's like, what's going on here? And it was very, very humbling. Even the way, when I first got on the mat, I was just stretching out how I would normally stretch out for stand-up.
Okay.
But then there's just guys kind of looking at me, and I tell them, I go, yeah, I'm just starting. And he's like, yeah, I could tell by the way you were stretching.
So even that's different, huh?
Yeah.
See, I think I'm in some ways, you know, I've always been in that grappling kind of mindset, and I did about 6 months of boxing, but so I think everything's kind of the same. Jiu-jitsu has a different feel to it. It has like this fusion where they're really open to different things. You know, I think modern jiu-jitsu, some people are still reluctant and resistant to maybe some leg locks and some takedowns, elements of that. But you know, I feel like it's like very open-minded about, you know, incorporating flexibility stuff, incorporating mobility stuff. And I've been trying to incorporate more gymnastics type stuff, having a dynamic warm-up that incorporates, you know, traditional jiu-jitsu movements, but also, you know, movements that are ergonomically friendly. You know, we have to realize, you know, people spend a lot of hours sitting in a chair.
Yep.
You know, so when they come to jiu-jitsu, they need to be doing things. They need to be undoing that chair sitting, you know, in the hour to 2 hours that they have to train. And it's part of my job to create a curriculum that complements that lifestyle where they're sitting, you know, that sitting lifestyle.
Right. And I think
as we sit here, should we be standing?
Yeah, we should be ergonomically.
We should be on a standing treadmill.
Yeah.
a sitting treadmill.
Yeah. How is that possible? When I saw you, I think I came into a no-gi class recently.
Yeah.
And you had already evolved into something I haven't seen before. Maybe you have, but
yeah.
You started doing kind of these monkey flips and these. I just saw you doing these gymnastic things,
like
that
tumbling, type stuff.
Well, I'm 5 foot. I'm 5'8". Okay, 5'7". Okay, 5'6.5". 150 pounds. I can't do these things. And you're 6 foot 220.
Yeah, 220.
Yeah.
Not that. Yeah. Did you say 210? Yeah, 220.
220. But
6 feet, 220. Yeah.
Agile. And
But I didn't learn how to do that until I got to Japan, and I started wrestling. And their wrestling warm-ups, across the board, almost every place starts with a tumbling gymnastics type warm-up. So your forward rolls, your backwards roll. Your forward rolls where you're kind of doing the splits, your legs are going out. And like a handstand to a forward roll, backward roll to a handstand. Dynamic bridging, where you're bridging through forwards and backwards. Then turning into flips, what's that called? Handspring, right? Forwards and backwards. And like every single place you go to a different school, that's the warm up, so, and I think because there was a strong judo influence into wrestling, the way wrestling got brought to Japan was a judo guy who traveled to the United States, and he had learned about wrestling, and I could be wrong here, but this is a story that I heard. And he learned wrestling, and then he brought kind of those things that he had learned back to Japan, but like with a judo touch, so a judo type of training, judo like drills, and the tumbling is like very gymnastics oriented. There's a very strong gymnastics element to it. I think Japan has one of the best gymnastics teams in the world. They're always like a medal candidate. Be interesting to see how the Olympics go this year.
In Brazil, right?
Brazil, yeah, man. You gonna go?
I'm a little tied down with my 2-year-old, but I would love to start doing more international travel. Your jiu-jitsu career and competition is leading you all sorts of countries and places, right?
Yeah, I've been to Japan. I've been to Japan before, but I've been to Japan to compete as well. But aside from that, I've been like New York, Chicago, Southern California, up pretty much anywhere I go on vacation, I try and bring my gi. So Colorado, where else have we been? Seattle.
And are those all IBJJF tournaments? Because what I noticed in the rankings, USA, there's a few, right? On the top, say 50, there's Keenan, there's you, maybe one other. At least in your division, in your weight class and all that. But everybody else is from Brazil. So are the majority of the tournaments in Brazil, or it's just they're just kicking ass over here in the U.S.? The
International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, IBJJF, is gone global in the last 4 or 5 years.
That's in its infancy then.
It's brand new. Yeah. I think the first world championships for the IBJJF, or what we now know of as the IBJJF, was 1996, 1997,
Yeah.
So that's 20 years. That's not that long.
No.
That's like very small.
That's true.
And that was in Brazil, and it moved to Long Beach, and I don't know how many years it's been in Long Beach. It's been in the States, but so it's still a really, really new thing, figuring out the rules, getting referees that know and understand and can give unbiased refereeing is difficult. To have professional referees, right, that only referee. They're not influenced by being on a team, or they don't have any biases.
Right.
They're human, so it's going to have a bias, but as little bias as possible.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, what do you think about? Yeah. I was just curious your take on why there's so many Brazilians just still there.
It's going to change in the next 5 years. It's going to change.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, you already see. I mean, look at the blue, purple, brown belts that are winning worlds. What's their nationality? I haven't checked the stats, but I'm almost certain.
Filipino, all Filipino. Actually, all half Finnish and half Filipino. Or half Canadian, half Filipino too, right, Daniel?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they're just U.S. based.
Yeah, I mean, and you could make an argument that Southern California is like the new mecca of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, the guys are over there.
Everyone
Even a
is
lot
there.
of the MMA fighters.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So
Yeah. Mixed martial arts has, Southern California is a hotbed of mixed martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just California in general. You could look at Santa Cruz and San Jose. I mean, there's a ton of great jiu-jitsu talent.
Yeah.
The greater Sacramento area has a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Just even the West Coast. You keep going up, Redding, you go up through the 5 up to Eugene,
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of really good guys on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from people that are not on the West Coast, because there's a lot of really like great guys, in Chicago, New York,
Sure.
all over the states. But as far as like the gathering and hotbed of, and I think the reason why we see a lot of that in Southern California is just because there's so many tournaments too, or maybe the tournaments are there because the people are there. I don't know.
Well, are the majority of the tournaments for IBJJF in California, in Southern California, or are the majority of them in
The big
Brazil?
ones.
The big ones.
Yeah.
Are.
So like the Pan American Championships are UC Irvine, or have been at UC Irvine.
So those are the ones that score the most points to get you to the rankings. Or rankings are they a big deal in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's a reflection of someone's effort and time spent competing.
Yeah.
And their quality, their results. Because if you lose every tournament, you're not going to be in the rankings either. So
Right.
you have to win, right? But you also have to be able to show up to compete. So some people, you might be the best jiu-jitsu guy in, I don't know, southern Argentina, but if there's no jiu-jitsu tournaments, or you don't have the funds to go to the tournament,
Yeah.
you're not going to be in the rankings.
Like you said, I think it's interesting that the nationality of the whole thing is going to change to.
It's going to be more international.
More international.
It's just going to happen. You see it in judo, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese judo people from Japan who do judo are upset because judo, like, they're not winning gold medals all the time.
Yeah.
But that's ridiculous. Like, that's what judo was. What was supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Judo was supposed to become more competitive.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to become, you're supposed to see champions from different countries.
Right.
And just the natural progression of things.
Right. What do you think about the rules? There's some people could stall, some people could do this. So, like Eddie Bravo, he has Bravo International for like, Invitational. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was listening to him one time and how he's explaining the rules. I was like, wow. What do you think of that, and what do you compare to some of the IBJJF?
I think trying new things, trying different things is good. I think that's exciting. You see no rules, submission only, with no time limits. You see some time limits. You see Eddie Bravo. I don't know the exact rules, but I think there's overtime, right? Submission only with overtime rules. So I think that's cool. I think and I think it depends on what the goal is. So what's the goal? Is your goal to have an exciting, spectator-friendly sport?
Good point.
Or is your goal to have, because back in the day, people paid money to go to Madison Square Garden and watch a 3-hour wrestling match.
Dang.
Yeah.
So these were Abraham Lincoln rules. That's what I think they should call them. Straight up.
Lincoln rules.
Lincoln rules,
Yeah.
man.
What's the rules? IBJJF for Lincoln rules.
It's like, I think that would be really interesting. Yeah. I think that, I don't know what the masses is. The masses will usually dictate what's going to make money.
Yeah.
But that's what.
Yeah. You got to figure out. You got to see where the money what follows. Where does the money go? Right. And what are people interested in seeing? I think they're both exciting.
There's room for all of it, right?
Yeah. The thing is, like, what you have to also understand, what are people turned off You know, people turn off by what they don't understand. So if they don't understand the rules, if the rules are too complicated, I think that kind of turns people off. Submission only, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You know, the guy either wins or loses. He either makes the guy tap or he doesn't tap.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that in itself can be kind of exciting.
Yeah, it's cut and dry.
But at the same time, it could be really boring.
Well, you know what was cool about the tournament that I saw you at recently, and that's what got me inspired back to come back, because, which is the one in San Jose, right? No, not San Jose. I'm sorry, here in Sacramento. And it was a no time limit. And
when was that?
That was, it was you, it was Manny.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a cool one.
Submission Pro Tour.
So that was
no time limit.
No time limit, and that was amazing. So you could go back from, okay, this guy, they're stalled out here. Well, I'm gonna watch Eliot over here, and Manny, you know, or that ended, and then it would go back and forth. So it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah,
so we gotta.
That was a pretty cool format. I think they did a really good job of keeping the action going. And they had, I think, 6 mats in total.
That was cool.
You know, so yeah, it was cool. And then they had an 8-man black belt tournament within that. Yep. And winner, first and second, or finalists got cash prizes. Oh. And yeah, I thought that was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. And as a spectator, it was inspiring. It was cool. Yeah. It was really entertaining. Yeah. You could look, okay, that white look, and you could look all kinds of different matches going on. So, looks like I guess we're out of time or out of space on the hard drive.
Okay.
Something like that,
gotcha.
Right, Daniel?
We're out of town.
Yeah. Daniel's awesome. Again, anybody want to?
AKBJJ Armor Kimonos. Yeah. They do my gis.
You put on a coupon code, right? I think I did that before.
Yeah. EK lowercase gets you 10% $10 off.
EK lowercase $10 off, you said, or 10% off? 10.
One or the other.
Okay. And then it's what, akkimono.com or what?
AKBJJ.
AKBJJ.com. All right.
Guys that do my nogi stuff, Komainu Apparel. Same thing, komainuapparel.com.
Okay.
Capitals EK.
Capitals EK.
Capitals EK.
All right. Same thing. Coupon code.
$10, 10% off.
Do it, everybody. Right. Go buy 10 gis today. Support Eliot. Or invite Eliot Invitational. We got to do that. I'll talk to Eddie Bravo. I don't know him at all, but I'll say, there's this guy.
Let me shout out to a couple of One Body Pain and Performance Solutions. Ty does my rehabilitation, and he also does my strength and conditioning. I just had Worlds, and it's probably the strongest, least injured I felt. Yeah.
Wow.
Going into a tournament.
And it's Ty? One Body?
Ty at One Body.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Ty is his name.
Ty's his name.
OneBody.com? Or
OneFitBody.net.
Thank you.
Thank you.
OneFitBody.net. Nice, Daniel.
Yeah.
Clutch.
Yep.
Cool.
So those are the heavy hitters.
Nice, man.
Thank you. Alive.
Thank you again for coming, for flying in from Orangevale. Os.
Os.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Thank you.